The old Harlow building was supposed to be empty. That was the entire reason the city bought it. 16 floors, nearly 60 years old, half the windows were boarded up, and the rest were covered in dust. For years it sat abandoned in the middle of downtown. Too expensive to renovate, too dangerous to occupy, too large to ignore. Eventually the city decided to demolish it. Before demolition could begin, surveyors were sent inside to document everything. Every room, every hallway, every stairwell, every office. It should have taken a few days. Instead, it became one of the strangest investigations in the town's history. It started on the ninth floor. A surveyor named Ben was comparing floor plans to actual room measurements. Boring work. The kind of work that normally produced no surprises. Then he found a door. Nothing unusual about that. Office buildings have thousands of them. The unusual part was what came afterwards. The door wasn't on any blueprint. Not the original plans, not renovation records, not inspection reports. Nothing. According to every document available, the door shouldn't exist. At first, everyone assumed the records were wrong. That explanation lasted about 10 minutes. Because when they opened it, they found a hallway. A very long hallway. Longer than the building itself. The survey team measured it twice. Then a third time. Same result. The hallway physically could not fit inside the structure. Nobody had an explanation. The city delayed demolition. The investigation began. At first, the hallway seemed normal. Old carpet, old lights, old office doors. The further they walked, the stranger it became. The hallway never seemed to end. Every few hundred feet, another door appeared. Each one opened into a different section of offices. The first room looked like it hadn't changed since the 1970s. Typewriters, rotary phones, wood paneling, ashtrays, everything covered in dust. A calendar hung on one wall, June 1974. The strange part? The building wasn't constructed until 1978. Nobody mentioned that at first. They were too busy staring. The room looked untouched, as though employees had simply stood up one afternoon and never returned. Coffee cups still sat on desks, folders remained open, pens rested exactly where they had been left. The entire office felt frozen in time. The deeper they explored, the more impossible things became. The next section looked like 1989. The next looked like 1998. Then 2007. Then 2015. Each area reflected a different era. Different technology. Different furniture. Different employees. But always the same company. Harlow Management. Nobody could explain it. The city brought in engineers, architects, historians. None of them could explain how the hallway existed, or where it led. Then someone noticed something terrifying. The sections weren't arranged by the past. They were arranged by time itself. The deeper they walked, the newer everything became. Eventually they reached an office dated 2028. The problem? It was still 2026. Nobody spoke for several seconds. The room looked occupied. Computers sat on desks. Lights glowed softly overhead. Fresh coffee rested beside keyboards, as if employees had just stepped away. One investigator opened a drawer. Inside he found newspapers. The dates were impossible, all from the future. He grabbed one. The headline made him sick. A major bridge collapse. The date was 18 months away. Nobody knew what to think. The city ordered the hallway sealed. That lasted 3 days. Curiosity won and a larger team entered. This time they went deeper. Far deeper. The future offices continued. 2031, 2037, 2044, 2052. The building never ended. Neither did the years. Then they found something that changed everything. An office marked Investigation Division. Nobody remembered seeing it before. The door opened. The inside were filing cabinets. Thousands of files. Every cabinet was labeled. Each contained names. Investigators, engineers, reporters, surveyors, police officers, everyone connected to the hallway, including the current team. One woman found her own file. She laughed nervously, then opened it. The laughter stopped. Inside were photographs. Photos of places she'd never been, conversations she'd never had, events that hadn't happened yet. The final page contained tomorrow's date and a detailed record of everything she would do, down to the exact words she would speak. The next day, every prediction came true. Exactly, word for word. The city panicked. The hallway was sealed again, this time with guards. The guards quit within a week. Some claimed they heard footsteps. Others reported phones ringing inside the sealed hallway. One swore he saw office lights glowing through the cracks beneath the door. Nobody wanted the assignment anymore. Months passed. Then somebody discovered something hidden near the deepest section. A sign. Simple, metal, old. It read, "Exit." Finally, the missing exit. The one thing everyone had been searching for. The team celebrated. For months, they wondered where the hallway ended. Now they had their answer. The exit door stood at the end of a future office dated 2084. Nobody knew what waited beyond it. Only one thing was certain. The door opened outward, which meant it led somewhere. The team voted. Against better judgment, they opened it. Sunlight poured inside. Bright sunlight. Warm sunlight. Birds chirped outside. For the first time in months, everything felt normal. Then someone stepped through and stopped. The others followed. Nobody said a word. They stood there staring, unable to process what they were seeing, because outside the exit, the Harlow building was gone. Completely gone. Not damaged, not abandoned, gone. The entire property was empty lot. Grass covered the ground. Wildflowers grew where the lobby should have been. There wasn't a single piece of the structure left. According to nearby signs, the building had been demolished years earlier. The date on the sign made several investigators feel very dizzy. 2091. They had walked through time. The hallway hadn't been preserving history. It had been preserving the future. And somehow, they had reached the end. Most of the team fled back through the exit. Only one person stayed. A reporter. He wanted photographs. He wanted evidence. He wanted proof. And he took dozens, then hundreds, before returning to the exit. Halfway back, he noticed something. The future offices were changing. The rooms no longer appeared empty. People were sitting at the desks. Silent people, watching him. Hundreds of them, in every office, on every floor. None moved. None spoke. They simply watched. The reporter ran. By the time he reached the exit, the offices were full. Thousands of silent employees, everyone staring directly at him. But he escaped. The city permanently sealed the hallway. Concrete, steel, security cameras. Nobody ever entered again. Or at least that's what officials claimed. Years later, workers reviewing demolition records found something odd. The Harlow building had never contained 16 floors. It only had 15. Nobody could explain where the 16th floor had come from, or why every future office appeared to belong there, or who the silent employees were. But one detail bothered investigators more than anything else. Among the thousands of future desks, every office contained a nameplate. Every single one. And every nameplate carried the same name. The reporters. As though the building had been waiting for him all along. And somewhere beyond that missing exit, the offices may still be occupied, waiting for the next employee to arrive.